Right.
I think that everyone is going to have to take a...
Hold on. I'm going to do that in a second. Set this up. Anyways, Shalom to elective Israel.
Cool.
To the hopeful elected Israel. You Hebrew Israelites. You so-called Negroes. Latinos, Native Americans, West Indian Haitians, and the foreign Israelites that look like the other nations scattered across the four corners of the earth. Got to give all praise to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash, Barak, Yahawah, Barak, Yahawashi. Want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone led me to this truth. Been ordained by the Lord to teach the flock how to live, repent, pray, fast, and show forth the Lord's righteousness and mercy, judgment, forgiveness, and wrath to all those who are part of the elect and to the hopeful elect. Lord willing, we be part of that number. Lord willing, to be edifying to those who fear in the name of the Lord and striving to show forth the Lord's righteousness every day to the best of their abilities. The judgment always comes to light. Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 5, and it's not slack. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9, and it's unto a ring. 2 Ezra chapter 5, verse 42. So we're going to get into this, and before I do that, I want to start off this video right here. Before I get into that, this is something that was kind of interesting, so I want to pull this up. You know, me and it's a new brother that's learning the truth, as we go along. That's with me, and he said, "What is that talking about?" So we pulled that up, and it ended up being something that could be edifying for the flock. So we're just gonna watch this real quick a little bit, and then we're gonna get into the lesson.
I think that everyone's going to have to take a hard look at where they want to be at this moment in history, as we're looking at efforts across the country to prevent people from being able to exercise their fundamental rights. Go ahead.
Wait a minute. First of all, you're not going to speed past that. Like you didn't just say what you just said.
Look, I think that everyone's going to have to take a hard look at where they want to be at this moment in history, as we're looking at efforts across the country to prevent people from being able to exercise their fundamental rights. Go ahead.
Wait a minute. First of all, you're not going to speed past that. Like you didn't just say what you just said.
See what I'm saying? He said they're going to take away our fundamental rights. See what I mean? What's that? What's fundamental rights? I gotta be at the plantation at 3 o'clock. So I'm gonna do this. Is gonna be a part 1 of this lesson. And I'm gonna do a part 2 when I get off, Lord willing, if I make it till then. So fundamental rights. What are fundamental rights? Fundamental rights are a group of off-rights that have been recognized by the Supreme Court as requiring a high degree of protection from government encroachment. Fundamental rights mentioned directly in the Constitution: freedom of speech, trial by jury, prosecution against self-incrimination, prosecution against okay. Let's just read right here. Fundamental rights are a group of rights that have been recognized by the Supreme Court as requiring a high degree of protection from the government encroachment, right? And what's encroachment mean? An encroachment is an unauthorized intrusion into a neighboring property through the creation and extension of physical structure, including flora above or below the surface of land. Common remedies of an event and encroachment include neighborly negotiation, the sale of relevant land, the granting of easement or injunctive relief. See? So what's that talking about? That's talking about basically you're not going to have no rights to do nothing. That's what they're working on taking. They're trying to make sure that they can basically unauthorizedly, like not being authorized, they can just come take your shit. What does that sound like? That sounds like martial law. These rights are specifically identified in the Constitution, especially the Bill of Rights, or have been implied through the interpretation of clauses such as under due process. These laws are said to be fundamental because they were found to be important for individual liberty, that they should be beyond the reach of political process, and therefore they are enshrined in the Constitution. Laws encroaching and on a fundamental right generally must pass strict scrutiny to be upheld as constitutional. So they're not going to need no proof. So if they just be like, you wicked or whatever, they can say whatever and they could just take your shit. That's basically what they're saying. They're saying we can just take your shit now. So let me get this lined up right. So you can see it's a lock here. That's how I gotta do my videos for now, but I got my ribs. She's sending me a tablet. You know, the water, Yahawah, I'm shy putting the spirit on me to do that. And I'll be back on a tablet doing my lessons the next couple of days. So this is basically what that's talking about. We're gonna go back over here. Got to get this thing started up.
The ancient Egyptians understood that they could use sound to reduce their
Hear that. Okay, so we got that out the way. Now we're gonna go over here. And it says China. It says China is turning screws on all U.S. military, taking away key material, right? So we're gonna read a little bit into this. And it reads, what if there are important metals known by the general public that held the entire U.S. military together, right? What if China controlled them all? Not just some of it. What if, you know, and we know this ain't a what if, it's facts. We know this is facts. They already own damn near most of the damn farmland, and they own the metal materials. See? So what if China controlled them all and is now cutting the supply to the United States? Well, now it's happening. According to Reuters, a Pentagon spokesman confirmed that the U.S. Defense Department announced that the utilization of the Defense Production Act on Friday to increase mining and processing capacity for gallium and germanium in the United States. Go down. Gallium and germanium are two rare metals that are crucial for the U.S. defense industry. See, so that's even to be able to have a defense. They have to have these metals to produce high-tech chips used in the military. And I was just talking to you know, one of my bros, and he was talking about how they just made this huge military ship. Well, what happened to one of these ships break down? What you gotta do? You gotta get more chips to fix the motherfucker. Well, China ain't giving them to you. You just got a big ass hunk of metal floating out there in the middle of the ocean. You know who's gonna come try to take that ass? Iran. They've been raiding every damn thing they can on the Gulf Coast. Okay. So, anyways, China and Iran, they cool with each other. So they ain't stopping them from getting nothing. They getting whatever they want. So the Defense Department is proactively taking steps to the Defense Production Act Title III authorities to increase domestic mining and processing critical materials for the electronics and space supply chain, including gallium and germanium. U.S. Department of Defense spokesman said. And see, China is so strong right now, they can't just do like they did in 9/11. They just can't go over there and just be like, all right, we're gonna take your shit. They can't do that right now, especially with half of the military being fruit roll-ups. They're not gonna be able to do it. They can't just do that right now. And that's what the America's like trying to hide, the fact that they're weakened. They're not strong like they used to be. You see? And they don't, and most of their leaders are, you know, they've been deceased. They back in the spirit realm. You know? Most of the people who in World War II and World War I who helped win those wars, you know, Edomites, they dead. So all we just got is a bunch of weirdos in the office. You know what I mean? that don't know how to run nothing. You got Biden over here talking about Biden bucks and whatnot. But all this is the Lord showing that he's weakening this place to be destroyed. Okay? They over here focused on the fruit roll-ups more than damn World War III. So now we're going to look up some precepts. This is Obadiah. We want to go to the Blue Letter Bible this time because there's some words that I want to look up. All right, so now we're going to go to Obadiah. Hey, stop. So Obadiah chapter 1, verse 7. And we've read this before, but there's some words I want to look up that I haven't looked up, before. So Obadiah chapter 1, verse 7, all the men of thy confederacy, right? Because it says in Psalms 83 that Moab was part of that confederacy with Esau, Edom, right? So they're talking about them, right? So confederacy. We'll look up this word.
Strong's H 1285.
Berif, right? It says covenant, alliance, pledge. See, they had a covenant, an alliance, and a pledge with America, Babylon the Great, between men. Treaty, alliance, league, man to man, constitution, ordinance, monarch to subjects, agreement, pledge to man, allegiance of friendship, allegiance of marriage, and that allegiance of marriage between the Most High and man. That's our confederacy, our agreements and alliance to Yahawah, Bahasham, and Yahawashi doing this work. But we're mainly sticking with their covenant and their pledge, right? And that pledge, was to basically use the petrodollar and trade with each other and whatnot, and strengthen each other's nations. But we know that America, Babylon the Great have always been a nation to basically lie and take what they want out of everything and be slick about it, right? So they did to China, all these nations. That's why it says that they're mad, So I brought thee even to the border. Says, and it brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee, right? And prevailed against thee. So I want to look up this word prevailed. Okay.
Strong's H 3201.
Yahawah, right? To prevail, overcome, endure, have power. See, they're going to end up taking the power of this place. Be able to gain or accomplish, to be able to endure, to be able to reach. See, the America, Babylon the Great has not been touched. Shalom, look. This place has not been touched. See? So that's what it means by they're going to prevail against thee, and not just them, but all the other nations as well. So it says they eat thy bread, have laid a wound under thee, right? Look up this word wound.
Strong's H 4204. Mazor.
See, a net, a trap. See? They set a trap under this place. There is none understanding in him, which means they're not going to find out that their allies are going to turn on them, because the Lord has them in a sense of thinking that, like I said in Psalm chapter 49, verse 11, they think that their kingdom is going to last forever. But now, since they see now that China is not giving them the rare metals that they need to keep their military running, America's getting worried. The NATO allies are getting worried because they're seeking America. They're seeking America for guidance, but America can't guide them. They can't show them nothing. Why? Because they don't even got their own materials to keep their own military running now. Because China's cutting them off. And so when we go before we get into this, I want to pull up some stuff dealing with let me get my other notebook. I want to deal with the 7 heads and the 10 horn, the 7 beasts, the seven headed 10 horns, but we're gonna deal with the 7-headed beast. We're gonna look up a few. I'm gonna show you a few. I'm gonna show you basically the chart. So grab my other notebook. Got that one. Bear with me. This one. Okay. Here it is. Okay, so lock in. All right. This is going to show, we're going to show you, basically the 7-headed beast and what it consists of real fast. Okay, so the 7-headed beast system, bear with me, let me get this running back.
Ethnic sound is basically a 1, 2, 3 sound map. Okay, so it's where I go to.
Okay, so the 7-headed beast system, basically, their chart. Okay, what they use is their philosophies to basically keep people blind from the truth, which is, their democracy, religion, because this isn't our religion. This is our heritage. The religion is man-made. This wasn't made by men. This is our heritage, that we received back from Bahasham, Yahawashi. And then pseudoscience, which is like basically they say whatever they want. They say whatever they think science is. That's why they out here saying now you can label yourself as a woman when you were born as a man. That's pseudoscience. Basically making their own things up. Adultery, homosexuality, lies, adultery. Adultery is worshiping other gods. Adultery is sleeping with another man's wife. Covetousness, making money off the truth. And murder. These are the things that facilitate this system. This is their key components to keep it running. And then the 7 heads, the 7 governments that are ruled by Esau Edom, the so-called white man, is Germania Minor, the Romans, the French, the Spanish, Germania Major, the British, the Greeks, America, Babylon the Great. Salaki, what do you want to say? Okay, so lock here. All right. So now we got the British, the Greeks, America, Babylon the Great, which is the little horn in the Bible, and then which is the leader of all them. And then the 10 horns represent the common market or the European Economic Community, which is established in 1958, right? Which used to be called the ECC, but got changed to the EU, which is the European Union, okay? And that's Belgium, Denmark, France, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Greece, Spain, and Portugal, England and Ireland, and West Germany. See? So that's the economic community, that's the common market, how they trade, And then you got NATO, which is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which was established in August 4th, 1949, just a little bit after World War II. It consists of 19 nations. This is the beast system, okay? You got Greece, Italy, Spain, France, West Germany, United Kingdom, Portugal, Belgium, Netherlands, Luxembourg, Canada, Norway, Denmark, Iceland, Turkey, the United States, Poland, Hungary, and the Czech Republic. Okay, and that's the beast system. You see, and that's what they use. This is their confederacy. But China has been one that has always wanted to be like America, Babylon the Great. That's why they have all that technology and they trade with them. But now they're not allowing America to have certain things that they have. You see, and this is showing that they're getting cut off. But we're gonna do right here because it said all the men of thy confederacy, right? So we're gonna go over here to Jeremiah. You know, because we said we know Britain is one of those countries, you know, especially that was the one that helped this place come to fruition. Like basically that's the mother of America, Babylon the Great. It's Great Britain. You know, they bring 13 colonies over here, and of course they rebelled and stuff, but you know, it was all part of the way of deceiving the nations, okay? Deceiving the people that, you know, this place was gained off liberty when we know it's not. So this is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 12, and we'll actually start at 50, verse 11. It says, because ye were glad, because ye rejoiced, O ye destroyers of mine heritage. So yeah, they destroyed our heritage. They destroyed, you know, everything that was ours. Because ye are grown as fat as the heifer at grass and as bellow as bulls, because it said through thy traffic, they've gained the riches through slavery. They gained all this through slavery. The verse says, verse 12, your mother shall be sore confounded. Who's that? Great Britain. She that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. They're going to shoot intercontinental ballistic missiles over here with the rest of the nations. And I want to look up this word confounded. Show you what that means.
Strong's H 954.
See?
Boosh.
It says to put to shame, to be ashamed, to be concerted, to be disappointed, to feel shame. See, they're going to be shamed at this place of how wicked it is and what it's become, you know. So give me a second.
The online action game War Thunder has received a major.
So, you know, that's what's coming right now. They're going to be ashamed that this place has become what it has, you know, the mother of all harlots, and they're going to destroy it with the other nations. So Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 19. And this is why they're going to do this kind of stuff, because none of the nations are going to want nothing to do with them. So this is Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 19. They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in that day of the wrath of the Lord Yahawah, Bahasham, and Yahawashi. You see? And that's how they don't understand that all these riches that they have gained from slavery, they think that that's going to keep the nations on their side. They think that's going to keep their confederacy rolling. They're going to think that their agreements are going to last, but it's not. It's not going to last. So they shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity. See, and it's causing them to be, you know, massively sin, and the Lord's going to judge them for that. So, you know, these are the things that we're coming into. You know, a time where America is starting to be viewed as undesirable, just like we were. That's why I said, what shall happen unto thee shall happen unto them. And this is why it's happening. You know, so this is a beautiful time for Israel. So now we got over here in the video 2 that I got, it says 4,700 earthquakes in 72 hours foreshadow impending eruption of a volcano. And this volcano is in Iceland. Let me see if I can fix this a little bit more. Okay.
Residents on the Nordic island nation of Iceland are closely watching a volcano that has been the focal point of thousands of earthquakes over the last few days, which could signal an upcoming eruption. The Icelandic Meteorological Office reports more than 4,700 earthquakes have occurred around Mount Fagradalsfjall, an active volcano about an hour's drive from the capital city of Reykjavik. Most earthquakes have been minor, but government agencies warn that seismic activity has increased the risk of landslides. Alert statuses around the volcano have been raised in anticipation of increased activity and volcanic ash. The volcano produced a series of eruption events in 2021 and 2022, but has been mostly quiet for nearly a year. Based on the present assessment, two outcomes are possible. The seismicity could decrease progressively without magma reaching the surface. Alternatively, the seismicity could still decrease when the magma stops moving laterally, but begins to move upward towards the surface, as observed prior to the last two eruptions here. This would likely result in an eruption close to where seismicity is currently concentrated. However, magma reaching the surface anywhere in the region between Fagradalsfjall and OK-LA cannot be excluded. Of the two possible outcomes, a volcanic eruption occurring within days or weeks is considered more likely, meteorologists stated during their latest volcanic update. Watch a volcano erupt outside of Iceland's capital. The volcano is located far enough away from many of the country's 375,000 residents that impacts are usually minor during times of eruptions. Fagradalsfjall is only about a 20-mile drive from the country's main airport of Keflavik, which has previously triggered concerns in the aviation community.
All right. So we'll stop right there. Some times and precepts. And then Lord willing, I'll be able to come finish this video when I get out the plantation. I always have to go early. And then tomorrow I got camp with my elder. But, Lord willing, I'll be able to get up and finish out the rest of this video. So I want to first pull this up, Luke chapter 21, verse 11. That's a lot of earthquakes. That's not very common. Luke chapter 21, verse 11. And great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines and pestilences and fearful sights, and great signs shall there be from heaven. And this is a fearful sight. You sitting around a volcano and it done erupted that many times. It done erupted 4,700 times in 3 days. Hey, you're gonna be terrified, man. That's even if they small minor earthquakes, that's a lot of earthquakes. That's showing that something big is coming. So verse 12. But before all these, they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and in the prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake. Why? Because they don't want to understand what's going on. And some of them already understand what's going on. And they're angry. They're gonna persecute us. That's what the Lord said. So we got to be ready for this. But you never know. The Lord could have you persecuted in there and be thrown in prison, and then He literally make you a warden in the prison. You break out the prison and get out. We don't know, but we're gonna have that faith, regardless of what happens. We're gonna have that faith, and when that time comes, we pray that the Lord puts us in that spirit of bravery, that brave spirit of like, man, you really trusted me this whole time, so I'm gonna make you tough. Everybody else gonna be scary around you. You're gonna be tough and ready for it, whatever comes your way. So that's what we pray in Yahawashi give us. So Mark chapter 13, verse 8, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, which we see that over there in the last video I had, on the last article I had about China coming against America, Babylon the Great, and also the other nations. And there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginning of sorrows. So this is just the beginning of the end of the end, you see. But that means that we're very close. We don't know how long it is. We just speculate off of what we see in the articles in the news. But it's just showing that things are speeding up real fast. And we gotta keep prophesying these things into reality until they come, because people don't understand when we do these lessons. When we prophesy and do that kind of things, that makes the Lord speed up the time, because he's seeing his people, you know, we're being diligent, we're working hard, we trust in Bahasham, Yahawashi, and the more we do that, the more we're closer to the elect being sealed, you know. And of course, it was already written from the dawn of time for them to be sealed, so they're already sealed. But you know, the time has to play out, and we want to be those people who helped that process, you know. But regardless of, you know, how much we actually help, we just want to be a part of that to help them if we not the elect, but we hope to be the elect. This is Revelation chapter 11, verse 13. And this is talking about the intercontinental ballistic missiles, okay? And at the same hour, there was a great earthquake from the missiles, right? And the 10th part of the city fell. The 10th part of the city fell that it's talking about right there. The 10th part of the city fell is talking about the 10 FEMA zones of America, Babylon the Great. Okay, it looks like this. Now, I've shown it before, but I like to show it, you know, in case it's somebody new come across. So 10 FEMA, you know, and the Lord is the father of repetition, you know. You know, we're supposed to repetitively warn our people, you know. That's our job, you know. See, zone A, zone AO, right? All that. We're going to look at an image right here, right there. That's the 10 FEMA zones right there. They're going to have major concentration camps in each one of those zones when they issue in martial law. Just like I said at the beginning of the video, that lady going to take our fundamental rights, which means that you ain't going to have no rights, which is what? Martial law. That's what that is. You know? So now we're going to go back over here. So the 10th part of the earth fell, and the earthquake were slain of men 7,000, which means perfection, completion. It's going to be a number of people slain from these intercontinental ballistic missiles, and their remnant were frightened. Why? Why were they frightened? Because they were taken up in the chariots, okay, and gave glory to the Most High of heaven. Why? Because we got saved out of it, Lord willing. Lord willing, we the ones to get saved out of it, you know. So that's what we fighting for. This is a spiritual battle. So Matthew chapter 24, verse 7. And it reads, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places." You see, so this is all the prophets were speaking the same thing. They were on one accord. They all knew that these times are going to progress over time, and it was going to come to a point to where it was going to be an end road. You know, all roads lead to the test of the charagma, the sea hill, you know, the MR and the MARK of the beast, you know, of this system trying to digitize you and digitally enslave you. That's where all roads lead to. So it's 204. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just read this, and I'm gonna go into this when I get back from the plantation, because it takes me about 45 minutes to ride over there. So this is F-22 stealth jet fights are back in the Middle East as a U.S. commander warns of buffoonery by Russian pilots, right? And what's they talking about buffoonery? What's the bull biggity they talking about they doing? It's right here. It says, after Russia harasses U.S. drones over Syria for second day, Air Force responds, cease this reckless behavior. So right now, there's being a lot of taunting going on with, you know, America, Babylon the Great, and Russia, the leopard and the bear, explained in Revelations chapter 13, verse 2. They're starting to, you know, they're getting ready for this war. That's why they got the stealth fighter jets back in the Middle East. This is a big deal right now. This is World War III and headlines being prepared, and the Lord's moving these chess pieces so this battle in the Valley of Jehoshaphat can be established and be executed. So, you know, Salaki, I didn't get a lot of time to do this video. I've got a lot of other topics, a lot of other various end time topics that I have as well. You know, I maybe got about 8 more that the Lord put the spirit on me to deal with. I didn't have a lot of time this morning. I was up late, and we're studying and, you know, getting this lesson prepared, you know, looking through articles, seeing what the Lord put spirit on me to come across. So I woke up maybe about 12, had to finish this up and, you know, get myself prepared to do it, you know. So, and that's kind of how, you know, it is. These lessons are like meals. You know, you don't want to have a fast food restaurant meal. We prepare these meals for the flock. You know, we really take our time and think about what we're going to come across, make sure it makes sense, make sure it ties into recent events, and also keep up with the brotherhood and what they're talking about. You know, this is our job as men. So, water for tuning in. Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the hopeful elect of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American, West Indian Haitians, and the foreign Israelites that look like you have a nation scattered across the four corners of the earth. I want to give all praise to Barak, Yahawah, Barak, Yahawashi, Barak, Yahawah, Barak, Yahawashi. Got to give all praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of great millstone, led me to this truth. I've been ordained by the Lord to teach the flock how to live, repent, pray, fast, and show forth the Lord's righteousness and mercy, judgment, forgiveness, and wrath to all those who are part of the elect and to the hopeful elect. Lord willing to be part of that number. Lord willing to be edified of those who fear the name of the Lord and striving to show forth the Lord's righteousness every day to the best of their abilities. The judgment always comes to light. Chapter 9, chapter 3, verse 5, and it's not slack. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9, and it's unto a ring. 2nd Ezra chapter 5, verse 42. Above the ball, DTA, ready for this place to go down so we can get up out of here. Hopefully the clock is up. We can get out of here, but if not, we're going to wait upon the Lord. We're going to serve Yahawah Yahawashi every day to the best of our abilities. So, shalom.